For the fans, by the fans. Welcome to the only Angels postgame show that keeps it real, win or lose. No filters, no fluff, just raw reactions right after the final out. The golden Stamos is polished up and somebody's about to take it home. A clutch hit, a game-saving grab, or just straight up hustle. We see you. But if you played like trash, you're getting the dreaded Nacho Night Award. We saw the missed calls, we saw the blown saves, the clutch moments, and the disasters too. Your comments are front and center, and yeah, we read all of them. Wanna let loose? Call in and sound off live. No scripts, no suits, no spin. This is raw, this is real, this is where the fans take over. This is the HITI postgame show with Todd Fox. For the fans, by the fans.
I'm a fox. My name's Todd.
Hey, guess what, baby? The Angels win. Well, we got to get that out of the way because obviously Sunday was a little frustrating, 18 strikeouts, but they turned the page and they won tonight in a game that featured a couple errors, which helped the Angels to that victory. But we'll get into all of that, and we'll get into the conundrum that is one Joe Adell. So with that being said, welcome in on a Monday as we start the week off with an Angels win. It's always good to see the Stukas flying over Anaheim and Disneyland, because we are by the fans, for the fans, by the fans. This is a Halos in the Infield postgame network show, whatever you want to call it. I am your host, Todd Fox. And yes, I did not go to UCLA or write up for them or have media credentials that were canceled, and I wasn't fired either. But moving on, the Angels win tonight. And I came back from the game because I actually go to the games, and we mingle with the fans. I said hi to a lot of fans that were there today. And the fans of the show and fans of the baseball team. That's the best thing, man. Talk it up with the fans. Have a good time while you're there. And we were there tonight as the Angels win 7-4. And Kikuchi, man, he had one hell of a game. One hell of a game against, again, this isn't the Yankees. But he's pitched really good enough to have a winning record. But unfortunately, he's 2-5. That's his only second victory. But we'll take it. We'll take it because maybe he'll get stronger as the season progresses and the Angels can score some runs for him. It was a weird game, fun game, but you had 9 strikeouts by the Angels. The Angels were helped by 2 big errors, and we'll talk about that here in a second. The A's shot themselves in the foot. There were some spectacular plays out there, and it's going to be a surprise who I give the nachos to. Not the nachos to, but the Golden Stamos for player of the game. So what happened in tonight's game? Well, I'll tell you. The Oakland A's, or Sacramento, whatever the hell you want to call them, started out with Holman starting as a throwback to a few years ago when it was a thing in Major League Baseball to have a spot starter. What the hell they called those guys? They had an opener. They had an opener, and Holman was the opener, and then they went to Springs for 6 innings, which Springs, if you think about it, he didn't pitch all that bad for Oakland. He went 6 innings, 3 runs, 4 runs, 3 earned runs. He had 8 strikeouts and only gave up 5 hits. So he wasn't that bad. And so you had the opener only throw 8 pitches, but Neto got the scoring started in the 3rd inning, singling to left, an RBI single. Kingery would score. Newman went to second. It was 1-0. Then Shawnuel singled to center. Newman scored. Neto to third. It was 2-0. And then Trout singled to left. Neto scored. Shawnuel to second. So that was kind of how things went. It was 3-0. Then Adell would homer. It was 4-0. And then Blade, who came in, I believe, for Clark. Yeah, he came in for Clark. And speaking of Clark, man, oh man, first inning, Denzel Clark. probably makes one of the best catches I've ever seen. Especially, I have to say, one of the best catches I've ever seen live. I mean, that was a hell of a catch in center field. I don't know how else to put it, man. I mean, he that rivals Mike Trout's catch in Baltimore from years ago. I mean, he nearly fell over the freaking wall. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that. That was the play of the game. And the center field position seemed to hurt the Angels all night because not only did he make that catch, he made a diving catch in center. He also made another diving catch. He had two diving catches and one home run saving catch off of Shonawell's bat, where Shonawell was openly frustrated. And he's been frustrated because he's hit some moon shots, some line drives, and they just made some great plays. And then Blade, like I said, would come in for him as the center fielder and would homer off of, I believe it was, who came in and gave that one up? It was Brogdon. So Brogdon couldn't even get an out. He gave us up 2 runs when it was 4-0 Angels. All of a sudden you're sweating because then he lets another guy on and you're thinking, crap, they got the tying runner up there. But credit to Zephyr John. He comes in there, throws only 7 pitches, gets 2 outs. And then Anderson comes in there. And it was so funny because when the Angels then would proceed to score 3 runs, they had Jansen warming up in the pen. As soon as Adele hit that line drive to scoring those 2 extra runs after Trout sacrificed a run in, all of a sudden you had Adele, Jansen sat down. So then Anderson came in there and he promptly gives up a 2-run homer. He can only get 2 outs, and then Jansen has to come in and he spends more time in warmups and also playing his song. He only throws 3 pitches and gets the final out after Muncie's home run. So 7-4 is your final Angels win. Should have been a shutout, could have been a blowout, but Adele, you go from one center fielder making all the plays to another Adele play. And yes, Adele came through with a home run. He came through with a 2 RBI single. And I got to credit the Angels too tonight because there was nice little hits by Shonawell. Trout wasn't trying but one time to swing for the fences. Everyone had even kill swings tonight. And you would think with Adele going 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs, like I said, that, he should be star of the game because, Neto had a couple hits and an RBI. So did Shonawell. Mike Trout had a couple RBIs tonight. Nice night. You didn't get nothing from Ward again because right when Ward starts to tear it up, he's back down doing shit. Chris Taylor had a rough night. You got some contributions from Kingery. You got a contribution, believe it or not, from Newman. So things were looking all right, but man, Adele, dude, again, it's like same old song and dance when this kid Clark makes 3 spectacular plays tonight. Adele still finds a way to screw it up because this is the 3rd or 4th time that, he did this in the last series. A ball he should have caught to rob a home run on Sunday. It hits the wall because he mistimed it. When he had it timed perfectly, he still winds up. I should say he had it timed perfectly, but he didn't execute. And it was a stupid home run. He gave away a 3-run homer in the first inning. And it was almost like the same thing tonight. He timed it perfectly. He just couldn't hold it. And again, that's the 3rd or 4th time I've seen him drop a ball over the fence. I think he's done it twice in Texas. So disappointing for him. And again, I'll say it. I said it before and I'll say it again. With Mike Trout on the designated hitter list only, our best outfielder by far is Chris Taylor. And that's not freaking that is not freaking something to brag about. But that is where we're at as an outfield. So I mean, if this team is going to make any kind of what is it? If there's so many times this comment right there, I'm not gonna read that one. I know who put that one on TikTok. You're so stupid. See, no one can maybe break character like that asshole. I know who you are, dick. Anyway, let me get back to it. Joe Adele is disappointing in a way because you'd love to see that dude hit like 250, 260, get his average up there, get some more RBIs. And he did show you what he can do with his bat tonight. But missing that home run it's just such a letdown, especially with the opponent making play after play after play. It sucks. It was so tough for to see that happen, and we were sitting right there in perfect view of that what do you call it, home run right there that went off his glove. Anyway, let me get to the star of the game. Let's get to the Golden Stamos Award. I'm still recovering from that comment on TikTok, man. Screw you. Anyway, look, you could have gave it to Kikuchi. Kikuchi pitched his ass off, like they said in TikTok as well. 7 1/3 tonight, only 1 hit allowed, 1 walk allowed, 5 strikeouts, 104 pitches thrown, lowering his ERA down to 2.92. However, and he pitched his ass off. However, that was one of the best catches I've ever seen. I mean, hands down. I'm going to go and throw a curveball on you guys. I'm giving this one to Clark. I think Clark gets your Golden Stamos for the 3 spectacular catches he had in the outfield. I think hands down that was amazing tonight by him. I mean, dude was on it, man. He's not that good of a hitter. Obviously, he was relieved later on in the game, but spectacular catches, man. And that's in a game where I think the A's should have had 4 errors tonight. They were dropping the ball all over the place. The Angels also went 5 for 9 with runners in scoring position. That helped out right there. And they kept Sacramento off the bases for the most part tonight. So I give him the player of the game. Who got Nacho night?
Nacho night, oh yeah, Nacho night. Pile it up, load it high. Extra shame, hold the pride. Grab a fork, take a dive. Dignity's gone, but the cheese survives. The Nacho Night Award.
Now, there's a couple of guys I could give it to. I can give it to Ferguson for the Sacramento team because he pitched only an inning, gave up 3 runs, 3 hits, got kind of lit up on 30 pitches thrown. I could possibly give it to Brogdon because Brogdon didn't get an out, and he gave up 2 runs right there, left the tying runner on base. They had to go to their bullpen and get a save. But just because his name is weird, I'm going to give it to, and I have to say it very slowly because I tricked a guy that was in the stands tonight. I say, hey, look at that guy's name right there. Can you say it really fast? And he said it really fast, and it came out as the N-word. So I have to say it very, very slow. And he went 0 for 4 tonight with 2 strikeouts as their designated hitter. Had he gotten a hit or 2, maybe this game is different. But I'm going to give it to a one they call Nick Kurtz. So Nick Kurtz. I can't say it fast. If you say it fast, it is totally worth canceling. What is it called? I can get canceled for saying it fast. Also, Clark's catch or Trout's catch, where he did the same thing. Yes, Spencer, I will give you this one. I really, really love that that catch, man. I think it ranks up there with Trout's. I think Trout's is just barely ahead of it. Also, Todd, if you played in the MLB, would you be a pitcher or catcher? Hilarious. Canero says playoffs. No, man, Newman is reminding me of Squid. Aren't there any better utility players out there? Vasquez says, can I get a recap? I missed the game. Well, the Angels won 7-4. Before I get into the other comments real quick, I'll give you a quick recap. Great catch out there. If you haven't seen the highlights, you got to see Clark's catch in the first inning. Amazing catch. He was player of the game. Angels got some contributions from should have been player of the game, Joe Adell, as he had 2 home run and 2 RBI single to put the game away. But he dropped. He had the catch measured in center field. And as he went up to make the catch, it was in his glove. He hit the wall, and it bounced over for a 2-run homer and made the game kind of close when it should have been a blowout. So with that being said, Brewheim Beer is going to sponsor the next segment, and that is I think someone's going to name Spritz O'Clock. Let's see who got Spritz O'Clock here. It's LV, baby, and he says it's Spritz O'Clock. So Brewheim beer behind Anaheim Stadium. Go get your 10% discount off of beers just by mentioning HITI, baby. It's Spritz O'Clock.
Spritz o'clock, angels play. Win or lose, we toast today. Sip and cheer, no matter score. Spritz o'clock, let's pour some more. Spritz o'clock, let's pour some more. Spritz o'clock, let's pour some more.
EQ says, let's fucking go, Todd. Canero says, moving forward, we need to win every game. And the standings will say that we need to catch up a little bit. Obviously, Houston had the night off. Seattle did come back and get a victory, I believe, in extra innings. Or no, they lost. Arizona beat them, so that's good. That helps out right there with us. I think we're going to gain a half game on them right there. So 31-34. Jason Hess says Adele needs to take jumping lessons from Denzel Clark. Also, LV says Anal's got a yummy tasting nut. Speaking of yummy tasting nuts, I'm pretty sure nobody enjoyed his show, but let's hear what he said tonight.
And so it begins again. If you don't know who I am, what's going on, everybody? My name is Gavin Carlson, former credentialed journalist, spent 4 years covering UCLA sports with the Daily Bruin, writing articles, conducting interviews, all that good stuff. And now in year 2 with the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team, every one of my go-tos, but it's my love. I love to eat nuts. Delicious.
Tasting nut.
Wow, he likes to eat the yummy tasting nuts. Kikuchi was solid tonight, but the bullpen and Adele almost fucked it up. Jason Hess says Clark must have been on PF Flyers. Also, Rally Chris saying, we're so back. LV says, run me some 7 honks. One more win in the series. The check clears, baby. So let's hear the Halo honks. He gets 7. There you go. He honked his honk 7 times for 7 runs, baby. Also, Jason Head said, watch Gavin tonight. He said he likes nuts because it gives him protein. Balls, and D's nuts.
For you to check out what I want. I want
balls and these nuts. Got him. Got him.
There you go. The fucking season starts tonight. Boy, you guys are calling out all the sound bites tonight.
We got a lot of baseball left to be played, and the season starts tonight.
Demetrio says, bro, I fucking hate Dell in the outfield. Like, bro, keep it simple and just play out there like you ain't slick. You ain't Jim Edmonds, damn it. Past that Halo left says, God damn it, Brogdon. Also, Adele says, hello is one of Gooby's worst. Yeah, I can't stand that. Gooby's like, hey. Also, Rally Chris says, run me some 7 Deos, baby. Yeah, there was 7 Deos. 7 runs means 7 Deos. All right, it's enough of that. 7 Dales right there for 7 runs. Also, you had Kikuchi. Jason Hess says. Also, Wilbur said, hey, Todd Fox in the house. Hey. Yeah, I was there. Also, we're so back. Love the A's aren't a pain in the ass so far this season, Lakers fan in Japan says. Jack Lee checking in with almost back to 500, and Kikuchi looked really good. Also, Oso says, I don't know what's worse, Todd in a thong or Joe Adele's defense. Oh, man, I'm never going to live that down. Tyler says, I wonder if Gavin knows how famous he is on here. Also, we see the best ever catch the big A, then watch Adele's shit show. Yep. Also, keep giving me more of that good feeling, Kikuchi. Also, you have Gavin said, man, Kuchi almost had a no-hitter. He gave up a bit or a hit in the 5th inning. Wasn't almost. You're fat. I don't know if Gavin's fat. He's a lot of things, but he's definitely not fat.
This fat son of a bitch is going to drown us all out.
Just calm down, okay? All right?
He's fat.
Rally Chris says we're so far 5-3. June, my check. When I check, we're going to be 500 or better before my birthday party is close to clear. I guess he's saying the check's going to clear for his birthday. Demetrio says I would rather see hashtag Fox thong over Adele's defense. Oh, come on. Don't put me back in a thong. Patrick says, holy Christ, I was having an aneurysm because they wanted to use Anderson and screw up the confidence. Holy fucking Christ. I was screaming at the TV. Yeah, it was pretty stupid. Also, Rally Chris says Angels record now scoring 4 runs or more is 28-9. Almost 20 games above 500 when scoring 4+ runs is the blueprint for to end this long playoff drought. And that could be, dude. That could be right there. Are the Angels holding or trading at the deadline? Eli from California, it's still a little too early, my friend. A little too early. I think we'll know more in about a month or so. Truce Lock says, what section are you usually in? Well, I am usually in 260 in that wheelchair area above the stands right in front of the Modelo sign, dude. I'm right there every game. Demetrio says, listening to the Angels post-game show until HITI started. God, that show sucks. So much vaginal cheese. That's disgusting. Randy says 5-0 against Oakland this season so far. Yeah, that's true. 5-0, dude. And we're never like that. Rally Chris says, so how about the edit I sent you, Todd, in the Todd Fox HITI postgame show and the edit of my birthday party? That was pretty cool that you made right there. I'll give you that. LB says, Gavin eats corn the long way. Also, Jesus says, we're so back in handling the A's. Iron Giant says, Q, what happened? Oh no, what happened on the robbery by Denzel? Yeah, dude, that long fly ball that was robbed on the home run that Charlie made, he was basically laughing at us saying,
oh no, what happened? Oh no, how terrible. That's just awful. How terrible. Oh no.
Courtney says Adele's defense makes me wish there was an open tryout for outfield. Yes, Jason Hess says Adele needs to invest in some Reebok pumps. You know what? Steve Elise was booing the hell out of him, even when he hit the home run. Marty says that catch was amazing. I'm jealous you got to see it live. Real quick, though, I got to throw this at you real quick, speaking of another sponsor. Max Market Pros, real quick, if you need a website to be up and loaded and looking professional to help your small business take it to the next level, and a company that is certified Google Fresh, meaning they can get you to the top of the search engine just by helping them out, by having them help you out, I should say. They will take your plumbing business, your carpentry business, your car wash business, whatever small business you got, and put it on the top of the list of social media and Google and give you a professional website for a good price just by mentioning HITI. The boys over there will get it done. They've been doing it for quite some time, and they can help you get your business to the next level, baby. MaxMarketPros.com. Check them out and tell them Todd Fox sent you. Albert Pujols says, no, Peachy's mama's way. We won. Mike Trout says, I'm back, baby. Demetri also says, I know we're winning, but it's the A's, and also a good team would have capitalized on us and our blunders. That's true, and that's kind of sad. Also, LB says, where are you at a game tonight, Todd? If so, do you have any more helmet? No, I did not have no more helmet nachos. I had all kinds of churro the other night. My stomach was messed the hell up. Tamir 20 says that Kingery bunt, though, that was a nice play that caught Oakland off of or Sacramento off their game. Demetrio says, I'm not going to honk over this series, Oakland/Vegas/Sacramento. Don Hammond checks in with this Denzel Clark guy been robbing people left and right, not just us either. That's true. I heard on the A's broadcast that he was player of the week last week because of a couple catches. Jason says, Halo fans, please reach out to family and friends and tell them you love them. Exactly. In this time of need, I'll throw that out there too. Our good boy, Halo Joe, lost his mom just over 2 weeks ago. And that's a tough blow. I've been there. That sucks even 8 years later. And, there's people and fans that have reached out that have lost loved ones recently too. So please, always tell your friends and family that are dear and close to you and good to you that you love them, because they could be here today and gone tomorrow. And that's definitely something that we're not built to take very good. And we all react different ways. So for your mental health and for also just to be a good person, show that love, always return that good energy, and good energy comes back to you. Jaden says, I miss Kyron Paris, and he would have made that catch as well. Alfonso says Adele went to Jose Canseco's School of Outfield. Yeah, if you don't know, for all those that watched Jose Canseco back in the day, just type in Texas Rangers Jose Canseco home run off his head. That is one of the funniest things you'll ever see. Joe Adele is trash defender, plain and simple. Also, Tamir 20 says Kyron Paris is a better center fielder than Adele. Daniel says, hey, happy Friday or happy Monday. Josh says, I'm the biggest Adele fan on the show. You are, Josh. And again, I would say his hitting is best this year than any other year. But his defense, right when you want to give him some love, he goes and makes a play like that. Todd, I know how you make to make you even happier. Balls in my mouth. Boy, yeah, you always get a laugh out of me out of that. I don't know why. It's always
time for you to check out what I want. I want balls and
in your mouth. Also, RJ says, went to the game tonight. Angels catcher today is horrible. Guy can't hit a beach ball. Yeah, that would be Darno. Skull Zone says, Todd, I'm watching your stream while I'm taking a doozy of a dump. That was me yesterday, Skull Zone. You jerk. Such an ass. Randy says, I'm tried telling everyone about Joe 5 years ago, but apparently I didn't know ball, and it was too early to be talking like that. So he's kind of like, yeah, I was kind of right. Also, agree, Clark is an outstanding outfielder. Clark had a better catch than Edmonds, or Clark's catch better than Edmonds? No. Clark's catch is top 5. Jim Edmonds, I don't think I've ever seen a better catch than Jim Edmonds. Other than, was it Willie Mays, or who made that over the head catch at the Polo Grounds? Was that Willie Mays, or am I thinking of somebody else? But the black and white one, because it wasn't in color. It was, when was that? In the 50s, maybe early 60s. If it was Willie Mays, I think that was the best catch I've ever seen. Randy Yaz, Adele for nachos. Courtney says Clark deserves the Stamos. He's made other amazing plays throughout the season. Absolutely. And that's why I gave it to him. Also, I think Shawnuel has more upside than Ohapi. I think he can be an 850 OPS regular all-star guy. Shawnuel, I love the fact that he can just make it simple. He could just turn it around and make it very, very simple and make some very, very nice catches. So absolutely, man. I think Adele, or not Adele, I think he can be a very good hitter, better than Ohapi. I'm not sure at this point. I think they'll always give the love to the catcher and the guy who hits amazing home runs. Gavin said Shawnuel needs to start hitting more home runs. That is so stupid. That's the organization for you. That's a talking head. That dude sounds like he works for the organization, because he doesn't need to start hitting home runs. If he's a 300 hitter getting on base, that's fine. He doesn't have to be that type of dude. So I disagree with that. I think Shawnuel just needs to keep doing what he's doing, and he's productive. He's more productive than freaking, we're going to hit more home runs. Taylor Ward, what does Taylor Ward do? Mostly strike out, pop out like he did tonight. He's peaks and valleys. You don't want a hitter like that. If you can continue to spray the ball over the field, you're more valuable than a guy that goes like 1 for 12. So Nate says Shawnuel can be a 400 on-base percentage guy. So if he slugs 400 plus, that'll be huge. It would be, but again, if you're getting on base higher than that, I don't know if you need the home runs, man. You just take them when you can get them. I mean, he almost had one tonight, but he didn't get one. Who cares? He's still very, I mean, as long as you're getting on base, to me, that's all that matters. Shamwell, like Gooby says, yeah, Shamwell, what a guy. Also, let's see what else you got here. No, I'm not saying it like that. I'm not saying it 5 times fast either. Saucy says, so who do we close with tomorrow? I'm sure Jansen is tired. Yeah, he only threw like 2 pitches and that were 3 pitches tonight. Let's see. Nate says, yeah, I'd be more worried about him hitting 30 doubles than 15 homers. And I think that's where he's probably good at. He can get to at one point is 30 doubles. And you know what? If he's a Darren Erstad guy, Nate, if he's like a 12 home run, 40 to 60 RBI guy, I'm good with that. And so I'm really good to that. Good with that. Skullzone's asking me if I'm going to Seahawks games this year. I've got 2 circled. I'm definitely going here in LA. I might go up in Seattle to see the Santa Clara Niners play the Seahawks. I got to see a rivalry game. Demetrio says Adele would go 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs and still get the Nacho night. That's Angels baseball. Alfonso says, I think Marcia would be a huge upgrade in center. Also, I'm not going to repeat those. You guys are trying to get me in trouble. Also, Marcia needs to be the Hoffy golden child. Ill. Marty says drunks in the outfield brought to you by Brewheim. Q Artie. Also, doesn't Brewheim ask for a voucher when you try to use HITI? That's what I heard, and I'm still trying to iron that out. So I'm sorry for that. I'm trying to get that together. Also, yep, same 800 OPS guy with a 420 on base percentage would still be great ceiling. Absolutely. Randy loses, we beat A's, wouldn't we gain a whole game? Or if Seattle loses against them, yes, I think so. So it would be 4.5 back of Seattle at this point. No, two games back of Seattle with that pickup right there. Brian says, thank you, Diamondbacks. Absolutely. Houston still in first. Arizona had a buttercup the game with 2 outs to allow Seattle to tie it, but they would win in extras. Alfonso says Adele spritzed as he went for the ball and balls. Then we know the rest. Yep. Marty says need Terry to call in for a few jokes and reception in the van. I'll work on that. Strange says someone needs to summon the batting spirit of Brian Downing and laser Gavin in the nuts to remind him his credentials have been revoked. Yikes. Also, Patrick says Artie gets the whole toilet of nachos. He's swimming with the monkey. Absolutely. I need to come up with a shirt with that. Joe Adele will hit 35 home runs and have a WAR under 1. He's still my favorite player. That's still cool, Josh. I would love for him to hit 35 home runs. I would just love his batting average to be like 265. Jack says we need Christian Moore. Nolan Shonwell is going to be an Angel great. I hope so. Angels jump into second in the AL West heading into the weekend. Trey Bergs is covering that right there. Skullzone says 13-4 Vikings. He's a huge Vikings fan. Shonwell, dude, I would love to see that guy just hit the next level. Will he do it? I don't know. I really want him to continue to hit, but I have a feeling he's a guy that the Angels will look at in 2 years or less, and they'll find a first baseman that's hitting like 267, 270 with about 35 jacks and about 90 to 100 RBIs. And they're going to say, you know what? He's more valuable than Shonwell. And they're going to say Shonwell can't play the outfield, and they're just going to move him over, and they're going to trade him. They're just going to let him go. Just got to hope Nelson Roddick can hit at least 240 in the majors to put some defense in center field. He could be the next guy. When do you think we call Simo up? That would be before the deadline for sure. I would say deadline or right before August, somewhere around there. Cardwell says if Shonwell can figure it out, the power, he'd be a really good power piece. He would be one of the best hitters in the league. Yeah, because he could spray the ball everywhere. Marty's talking about Gavin loving nuts right there. Also, you have the rest of the fans are going to be like, the Angels ruined it. They ruined it after they win the West. Man, I just want them to be in the picture, man. I don't even know if they can get there, but if they can just play a little bit better and consistent, this team, I mean, again, in a division that sucks, They have an opportunity to at least be in it and not
My
ruining it.
lips, you're ruining it. Ruining.
Yep. Also, you got, oh no, what happened? Randy also says at least Todd in a thong was enjoyable and funny. Watching Adele is not enjoyable and funny. Trade Adele and Ward while their stock is still high. Alfonso said, hi, my name is Gavin, and this my girl Sapphire. Hi, my name is Sapphire, and this is my man Gavin. We've been fans for the Halos for a long time, and Gavin loves me long time. Does he even have a girlfriend? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's weird.
There's a lot of baseball left to be played. And the season starts tonight, which makes me so horny and me love you long time.
Rally stats of us scoring 4+ runs a game shows that the pitching staff with lead is lights out. And I like that too. And when they score 4 runs, man, I mean, they're on it. Logan O'Hoppe needs to learn third base. He's useless at catcher, and we have nobody there. And right now, yeah, we're no Renifo right there, no Christian Moore right there, no Mancada right there. Logan O'Hoppe too he's decent as a catcher, but the thing is, he's getting his spot taken away 2 times a week because Darno is preferred by Kikuchi and Hendricks. So, and with Mike Trout at DH, there's nowhere to put him. So you're right, he might need to learn a new position. Randy says, yeah, Todd fired me today and hired Rally Chris. No, I did not. No way. Gavin has to sit when he pees. Damo says we should have the Golden Thong Award with Cisco singing in the background. That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. 714 tickets, 714 tickets. Patrick's calling for this little gem. Tired of paying service fees and taxes for tickets and concerts? Well, guess what? There's an alternative, and that is 714 tickets. Yes, 714 tickets is the price you see, is the price you get. Ron Holt has set up this website for you and for us as Halos in the Infield fans. And by putting in HITI in the promo code, you get 10% off of your purchase every time. Not just one time when you sign up. No, every time. And not just for the Angels, not just for the Dodgers, for basketball, football, hockey, and concerts. Use the 10% off HITI code as much as you want. Isn't that great? Plus, you get 5% more of savings off of your purchases for future purchase of tickets going forward. 714 tickets is awesome because, again, the price you see is the price you get, and you don't pay all these crazy service fees and taxes. If it's $28, well, guess what? It's $28 plus the 10% off you get by using Halos in the Infield, HITI, at checkout. So what are you waiting for? 714 tickets, 714 tickets. Tell them Halos in the Infield sent you. Cardwell says, what do you think of the corresponding move will be once Wade gets activated? That's a tough one. I would like to see Newman go, but a guy like Anderson could get cut as well. I don't see Anderson lasting much longer because they just brought him back from being DFA'd, and after tonight, he could go down again. But as an infielder spot, it'd probably be Kingery because I think they're going to hold on to Newman for whatever reason. Angels have a historic home run robbery differential. I'd love to know what those numbers are if you got them, Josh. Sorry, Angels Suck says, wow, winning. That would be our boy, Charlie Sheen.
Wow, winning.
Yep, Charlie Sheen. Also, Courtney says, my college used to say an error equals a run. The Angels Suck says, walk-off grand slam for the D-backs over the Mariners. Jason says, Gavin dips his hot dog into water. Nick House says, light that baby up. Let's go Halos. Love the podcast, Todd. Thank you so much. Mike Trout says, my home run robbery was better than that, bum. I don't know. It was good. It was spectacular, but Jim Edmonds is above you. That's for sure. Randy says, my mom's been gone since 1998, and you never really get over it. Mom's and grandma's deaths hit very different. Absolutely. And yes, prayers to Halo Joe and his family as well. Just catching up there. And yes, it does, Randy. And trust me, 8 years is still, I mean, I can't imagine since 1998. Tony C says Sean Anderson will be DFA'd for Lamont. See, there you go. Soler is going back on the IL. Also, I heard that Tyler Anderson is getting some attention. Wade Jr., did you like that pickup? He hasn't done anything for the Giants, so we'll have to see what happens moving forward with that. Obviously, anything you get out of him will be a plus. So we'll see. They're adding these veterans in there to try to beef up the lineup, give you another left-handed at bat. with Soler down. So we'll see. Again, anything he can give you, we'll take at this point because, again, there's some spots that are just some glaring holes at the bottom of the order. Randy says, I hate drafting high school players unless they're a lights out over the moon kind of prospect. Also, Gavin thinks having wisdom teeth makes him smarter. Patrick says, I never buy food at the stadium, not putting another penny into Artie's pocket. I always do the local hole in the wall restaurants, Orange and Santa Ana area local businesses. That's the way to go. But, dude, I was kind of screwed the other day, and I had to go and get something from Chronic Tacos inside of Anaheim Stadium because, dude, we hadn't eaten and we were going to be there late. So it's like we just showed up and grabbed food there. I never do that. I always eat before or after because I'm the same way. I don't like giving Artie anything. Nate says the Jim Edmonds catch is undoubtedly the best Angels history in Angels history and probably top 5 of all time. I am 100% there with you. Carbell says, if Ohapi has to move from catcher, what position do you think he would learn? I would have to – I know Nate, I think, said third base. I would like to say first base. But then again, you got Shonowell right there. So maybe – and I don't know if he's fast enough to react over there at the hot corner. So maybe try second because I don't think he's an outfielder. Also, Mike Trout says they are really comparing my catch to Denzel. Mine is better. Squirrely Dad says Shonowell is going to be our best pure hitter. As Billy Bean says, he gets on base. Grillmaster says grand slam. The Mariners lose. Gavin takes notes from sexual harassment training. Courtney says leadoff and second batter should be your most best contact hitters. Home runs are nice, but contact and base hits wins games. And look what happened tonight. I mean, Shonowell, like you said, or Neto and Shonowell were setting up the bottom or the middle of that order by getting on with back-to-back hits and pressuring. So there you go. Corner outfielder is easier than third base. So maybe right field, you think, Nate? Also, you have Janice Gaspasian. I want to say Joplin, but I'm sorry. Janice says, I thought they released Anderson. I know he stinks, but he's the best-looking Angels pitcher since Chuck Finley. She's like, but he's cute, though. Grillmaster says the catch by Clark should be the catch of the year. For right now, it is. Also, I can remove Brewheim till they get their shit together. Cue the clip. Yeah, that's true. They got to get their shit together for sure, right, Marty or Morty?
Well,
Yes,
then
Marty.
get your shit together. Get it all together and put it in a backpack. All your shit, so it's together. And if you got to take it somewhere, you know? Take it to the shit store and sell it. Or put it in a shit museum. I don't care what you do. You just got to get it together.
Get your shit together.
Get your shit together.
So Nate's saying left or right field because he's predicting that Taylor Ward will be traded, and that'll open up a spot right there. And maybe right field, Soler gets moved. Who knows? So many home run heads in the chat. We need run manufacturing heads up in here. Grillmaster saying D's nuts. Patrick says you guys should update the Nacho Night AI. I think, again, put Artie instead of the monkey, maybe on Artie's head, the monkey. Artie's head on the monkey. Don Hammond says Lamont Wade Jr. is with us now. He sure is. Perry's future should be determined by this draft and how the deadline goes. I agree, Josh, because this is probably the most important draft we have seen in Angels baseball history. The Gavin Lore is going deep on the HITI network. Yeah, he's taking over the show. Patrick says Nolan Shonowell was really good. It's better to have a Darren Erstad at the number 2 spot than a dinger guy. Also, Boo Bear's mommy checking in saying if they can back up the pitcher with some runs consistently, there's no reason why we can't at least get well above 500. I do like that. I mean, again, if they're able to score 4 runs, I mean, he brought it up earlier in Rally, Chris. We're like 28-9. And that's a hell of a record compared to what our record looks like when we don't score 4 runs. Codwell says, what's your opinion on Perry? He really whiffed on that 20 pitchers drafted year. He's whiffed in free agency. He's whiffed in having to listen to the analytics guys and nerds who have never played the game, along with Artie Moreno, who have final decisions. I've heard that he's wanted to pull a few trades. I know that Ohtani was dangled out there a couple times, and he could have got a haul. but Artie Moreno saw money and endorsements and money coming in from advertisements and said, you know what? No. And I know some of his trades have been nixed, so I would have to say he gets an incomplete still. I think I'm with, right now, knowing the fact that Artie is giving a little bit more leeway. I want to see what he does in the draft. Like he's got to hit on these picks, man. I mean, I would have to say at least 5 out of the first 10 have to be bangers. They have to hit, and the other 5 have to be fringe major leaguers, at least good prospects at maybe becoming good. Demetrio says, Todd, can you play the other funny ad you made when someone asks you, hey, what's that? No, because I got a strike with that one on TikTok because I couldn't endorse gambling on TikTok. So I got a strike for that one. And I actually got suspended for a couple days. Josh says, Gavin seems like he had a crush on a girl for 3 years and never had the nuts to ask her out. Boy, you guys are killing that dude. I don't even have to say anything. Also, Beach Train says, Joe Adele, baby. Woohoo! He says, I'm telling you, we can't trade Adele. Give him at bats, and he's getting lately. Dude's going to hit 30 to 35 home runs. Second guy to say that. I think Josh will agree with you. Boo Bear's mommy says, also, so glad Kikuchi got win number 2. Codwell says, I agree. One of our worst decisions the Angels have ever made was not trading Ohtani for that big haul. And again, there was 3 teams willing to give us a huge haul. And they were like, no. We still need to be 500 or less. Nate says that's what makes this deadline scary. A 500 team might mortgage the future and trade. And that's the thing too, Nate. I don't think they can repeat that again. That was a terrible trade. Was it last year when they went all in and got Giolito and other players like that went nowhere? They weren't even that good at players, and they were giving away any kind of players they had left in the system. Like having Cuero right now would be great. You might not have had to get Darno. You could have had Cuero as your backup player, and he's actually starting for Chicago and doing pretty good. I like that kid. And I was kind of high on Bush as well. but no, when he got traded too, and I didn't want to see him go. And this is a minor league system that's just trying to build itself back. So I think the Angels can't afford to trade possibly. I don't think they can. I think if anything, you got to start shedding some of those expiring contracts. Same thing. I agree with you, Nate, there too. Got to trade Ward, Kenley, Tyler Anderson, bare minimum. They should have traded Tyler Anderson last year. Also, Gavin's parents change the subject when people bring that's fucked up. Damn. Oh, can we talk about my car? I have a nice car outside. Patrick Carrillo says Roger Lodge is a bootlicking houseman. Damn right he is, dude. But he doesn't seem to care about that. Where is that little soundbite? Oh, there he is.
Call me a bootlicking houseman all you want. I don't give a damn. Call me a bootlicking houseman all you want. I don't give a damn.
Yeah, he doesn't care. Also, Grillmaster says, hi, I'm Ron. No, he would never say that. Matthew says, yes, we did light the baby up tonight. Was able to tweet the picture of the big A tonight, and we did light that baby up today on the account. Rally Chris says, also Sam Bachman, since returning to AAA Salt Lake, is a 0.96 ERA. Saves 8 out of 8. That's pretty good. I don't understand the Wade trade right there. Also, Tyler's saying balls, and Todd now has an Artie helmet nacho tapeworm. Dude, my stomach is still recovering from yesterday. Good grief. That was terrible, dude. I mean, my stomach is winning.
Winning. I win here and I win there. Now what?
And I have emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
Yep. Let's see. Also, Randy says, now that I think of it, the one time I had chronic tacos, I had the loaded fries and they gave me the shits as well. That place is shitty naturally. Alfonso says WWE new bloodline Lodge. Roger Lodge is tribal chief. Gavin is the enforcer. Halo brothers are the soldiers. Halo bro, I love you, Roger. That could work. Balls, and Deo. Oh my God. Jeez.
Time for you to check out what I want. I want balls and Deo.
Also, why does Willie McCarver on the A's sound like he should be in a 50s movie? I don't know. Is Todd going to grow an early 90s style mullet? No, I can't grow the hair no more, dude. That's I'd have to have a freaking what's it called? A wig. Also, Cabo says, do you think they will wait till the deadline to call up CMO? Absolutely. I don't think he's gonna be up before that. But maybe I'm wrong because Renifo just continues to suck. You know, he's got to get it going. I love that one, Tyler. I've had diarrhea since Easter's. Jorge Soler saying, DFA me, please. Tyler says, Halos can't get let off the gas. Have to take the series and keep it going against the Orioles instead of dropping another winnable series before they play the Yankees. Randy says, wants to go to sabermetrics route, yet hired an old guy that doesn't coach that way. Clearly, they didn't even discuss it during the interview. That's true. I mean, if you're going to get somebody, you got to get someone young that's going to work with those stupid analytics. Don says, I can't wait to watch the MLB draft. I'm going to be tuned in from start to finish to see who we get. Absolutely. And we're going to have a show on that as well going in there, right, to check that whole thing out. Traded Dell and Ward to unload that dead weight. Thank you for the super sticker, Tyler. Really appreciate that. Jason says, Gavin thinks that San Diego actually means a whale's vagina. Also, Chase says, sup, Todd? What's going on, Chase? Movie producer. He's doing really good up there. Former player on this network. He's doing great in college right now, so props to you, Chase. Ron was supposed to help the infield defense too. Yeah, not really succeeding. Love you too, Grill Master. Mike Trout saying 2023 was traded for Giolito, and we blew it up. Estevez blew it, and August just killed the team. Yeah, we fell apart. That was 2023. That's right. We got a lot of picks in the top 110. We need to crush it in this draft. We absolutely have to. Tony says Bachman should be up soon. I think we'll make a major trade with the Pirates. I think we will get Hayes from the Pirates on Monday. That could happen because the Pirates are a team that's always selling. So we'll see what happens. Grillmaster says you get out of it what you put into it, which is this.
Pretty cocky. I want balls and
No,
John Stamos.
It's not that one. It's
Let me tell you something about my guy John Stamos. So I was able to go in the back bedroom and unscrew the old balls and running up my butt right now. You get out of it what you put into it. John Stamos choked on me. He was so great.
Tyler says Gavin's parents wanted a girl, but not loving nerd journalist. Randy says, I'm not sure if I can trust Bachman to stay healthy. Canning part 2. Trade him while you can. We'll see what happens, man. I mean, you got to at least give him a shot up here to not get injured, but I can see where you're apprehensive on that one. What's up, Hirma there? Chase says, my guess with Wade Jr. trade is that he platoons with Soler in right and fills in for Shonowell if he ever needs a day off. Would love to trade Renifo and call it more. Yeah. Chase, can you move into that assistant GM and kind of whispering into our boy Perry's ear? Alfonso says, we're roasting him. I guess we're roasting him. Gavin's birth, Gavin's parents' emotional damage. Dude, man, I swear to God, someone's gonna
emotional damage.
Someone's gonna play this back to him. I'm just reading the comments. Tony C says Mancada will be traded and we can pick up Hayes from the Pirates. Taylor Ward would be traded to the Pirates for Hayes. What do you think? Hayes is a nice player. Taylor Ward going over there. I'm telling you, this organization loves mediocre players. They are not going to give up on Taylor Ward that easy. I just don't think they're going to give up on him like that. They'd have to get some good players back. Soler's asking to be demoted. Also, Codwell says, have you considered taking matters into your own hands and taking out Artie? Nothing I could say online right now. That's for damn sure. No, I'm just kidding. No, there's no way I could do that, man. I mean, the guy's in a situation, man, where he's unfortunately going to pass, and then that's when the team will go. But his ego is way too big to sell or to be frightened by a peasant like myself. Nate says Ward to San Diego, but who do we get back? Don Hammond says, Cuero is good. Hopefully he turns into a star player. When players leave us, and I root for them to do well. I'm with you, Don. I'm only a hater because number 17 went to Los Doyers. If he went anywhere else, I'd be the biggest Ohtani fan, but I can't do it. I will not root for him at all. I don't care if he hits 6 home runs in a game. Gavin forgot that fungal bat wasn't another name for his tilt. Wow. Caldwell says, what should be an optimal return for Ward if we go to San Diego? I would have to say a number 3 starting pitcher, but they're not going to give up a starting pitcher. So you'd have to get like a number 2 in their minor league system somewhere. He'd have to be like a pretty good pitcher. Other than that, you get 2 position players for him. You could possibly get a bench guy who should be a starter on San Diego, but he's only good enough to be a bench player at San Diego. So he'd be good to be starter here. And then you get like a AAA, AA type prospect. That's what I would think. Trading Renifo, Adele, Ward, Soler could get some draft picks and shed some dead weight. Mark says, hey, Todd. And he also says, hey, launch angle. Grillmaster and Gavin are the long lost brothers right there. Look to trade Rendon in the salary dump. There's nobody that would take that. Also, Todd, like, I'm just reading the comments like he ain't got 2 sound clips. It's not 2, it's 3.
On everybody, my name is Gavin Carlson, former credential journalist in the LA area. How about a yummy tasting nut? If you don't know who I am, what's going on, everybody? My name is Gavin Carlson, former credential journalist in the LA area. Spent not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 years covering UCLA sports, specifically with the Daily Bruin, writing articles, conducting interviews, all that good stuff. Crack into a good source of protein with how about a yummy tasting nut? I love the nut. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Had me fired up.
Gavin would be the bravest soul on earth if he made an appearance on HITI. That's true. Tamir 20 says, I think the Padres trade for Taylor Ward. That where there's smoke, there's fire. There's fans saying it, there's reporters saying it, there's organizations saying it. Gavin's confidence would shrink like the yummy tasting nut if he came on HITI. Damn, dude. Because it's just I know it's going to get back to him, dude. I just know it is. Randy, that's why I'm laughing at it, Randy. And then Mark says, hey, that's my line. That's one of the cheesiest shits that Gooby's ever said. Little Strange says, every time Gavin flashes his former credentials, Adele launches a ball into orbit. Alfonso says, Gavin is a Squid Halo postgame show of the postgame shows. Todd vibing with the Gavin hate. Oh, man. Also, Gavin wanted Squid as MVP, most valuable pussy. Damn. The Nate says Padres are throwing out a ghost of Jason Hayward and a sub 500 OPS guy, Lockridge in left field. No, I wouldn't take Hayward. That's another over the hill guy. No. Who knows? The Pirates might want Rendon. By the way, so I don't know. Real quick, on a quick rant before I get back to the Gavin hate, apparently. Oh, it says, no, I'm saying they're desperate for a left fielder. My bad, Nate. But here, real quick, check this out. Before I get into a real quick rant, I'm going to throw this in there real quick. New HITI shirts available on the website from Shopify on the Halos in the Infield page, or on the not the eBay, but the Shopify, and also on the YouTube page. You can click the link there and order your shirt today. The HITI Network shirt. It's pretty fresh. And then we got a couple more designs coming out in a couple days. And we got the hats that are going up tomorrow. They were supposed to go up today, but they're going to go up tomorrow. So you'll have Halos in the Infield hats to buy as well. So real quick, what was I going to tell you about? So some of these announcers don't do their homework. I told you about the ones in Oakland who said, hey, what's that fireman's hat for? You know, like, are they just trying to spray their own players because they're so hot by hitting all those home runs? I'm like, no, that's not it. And some of these announcers have been saying the stupidest things, like they don't understand. Like the last crew that was in here, who they play, Seattle. The Seattle announcers were like, hey, you know, if that guy Anthony Rendon was in the lineup, the Angels are missing that at bat. It's like, the fuck we are. Do they not see or have known who Anthony Rendon is? God, we don't miss that guy for shit. You think if he came out of the what is it, the dugout, and he came to make a pinch hit and he was off the IL, how many boos that fucker would get? No way, dude. No way. They don't do their homework. They don't know anything. So a lot of these, they're not like the old school announcers like Vince Scully, all these old announcers that would just know exactly what's going on with every team. So yeah. How short was this show? Yes, we get that one right there. Grillmaster says Gavin Carlson won't get a girlfriend since he locks on to the podcast more than women. Wow. Also given number 6 squid must go. Damn. See, I would never, I don't know, man. There's a lot to pick on me. So I just, he'll probably say, I'm taking the high road. I'm not going to go there on my show. I am. I don't care. I'll go petty. Like I said, they put that bad juju on me. They gave me that negative energy. They were lying. So I'm just giving it back. I just had enough. So, and if I'm being too much and people don't like it, like as far as like being a little petty here now and there, I don't care. It is what it is, man. I still stick to baseball, but like I said, the fans take the show where it's got to go. So if you guys are taking me down the Gavin route, then we go down the Gavin route. Nate says, unless he's pinch hit or left-handed, he's talking about a left fielder right there. I think you're talking about Jason Hayward. I just wouldn't take that guy up right there. Also, you got been missing in a bat right there since 2020. That's right, number 6. Don Hammond says, oh, yeah, definitely understand what I meant besides the Dodgers, LOL. Jeez, I'm not going to put that right there. We all know about the nuts. Let's see. Todd says it's true. It's, for the fans, by the fans. Exactly. That's how we do it on the show. For the fans, by the fans, by the fans, for the fans. And we're there in the stands with you every night at games. I'll have to say it's not every night, because then I'd be lying like AM 830 when they say, hey, we're going to be on here every night after OG's Pizza, every post game. And then you see crickets because you have Terry Smith saying, that'll do it from remotely broadcasting from Anaheim. We'll see you tomorrow. They don't always do post game shows. And the same thing with the other network. They don't do post game shows. We're on here all the time. And even if I miss one, which I think I've only missed 2 or 3, 2, I think this season, because I had family in, and Rob filled in and did a great job. So, we always have a post game on here. And even when like the extreme happens the other night, I do it in the morning, like we always stick with a post game, and we're always your one-stop shop for a post game show. And it's only delayed a little bit when the Angels are home, because, it takes me 30 to 40 minutes to get home from the stadium once you leave the parking lot and get down here. Oh, yeah. Nate was talking about left-handed Rendon hitting the home run. That was still pretty crazy what he did. But anyway, when I usually do post games, it's less than 5 to 10 minutes after a normal game when I'm home watching it here. So that'll usually happen on road games. But it takes a little longer, obviously, fireworks nights or stuff like that. I don't leave the game. I don't leave the game early. So there you go. Also, let's see. We have Damo saying that Cooch right there. Also, we need more Randy on the post game, and that could happen too, because it's when Randy's not busy, man, or when he has some time, he can jump on here whenever he wants. That's like sort of like the I don't mind him jumping on for anything. He always provides good content right there. Do you still park across a Catella? Yes, I do. I do park across the street over there by Noble. That is still free for sure. It's still a good hookup. I still don't understand why they don't put why they don't charge. But they could charge if they want. At least $5. I mean, you can't charge like $10 because that's still a bit of a walk. But parking at Noble for free, I mean, you can't. That's why we were sponsoring them for a while before they were a dick. I don't park at the $10 parking. I park over there by Noble. It's better. But before the new guy took it over and became a dick, yeah, I would always park over there in Noble and always broadcast it. And that's why I think a lot of fans got the idea. And now that parking lot, with the exception of like against the A's, that parking lot's always full over there at Noble L. So it's pretty good. It's a bit of a walk, but I mean, like especially I've noticed too, when you've had a few to drink, either at either at the bar before you walk over, or you go to the stadium and you buy a bunch and then you go to drive back, or not drive back but to walk back. It's good to walk it off. It really works. So I knew admit Randy is too busy in the lab making bangers, that's for sure, dude. He always makes some good shit, and he's the reason why we get a lot of stuff done here on the page and on the show. So we really appreciate that. Nate likes Brewheim way better. I do too. Brewheim is amazing. That's why we switched over to them. Their beer is really good, and great atmosphere. The one thing they got going on over there at Noble is it's more of like a dive bar, but there's no atmosphere. Music sucks. The beer can be good at times, depends on what they're brewing, but I think consistency and a new kitchen at Brewheim is coming around the corner. The food's going to be a lot better. They do have some people that come in that make some good foods, depending on the trucks or whatnot. They have a good barbecue guy. But for the most part, yeah, I'd have to give it to Brewheim because atmosphere, food, and the actual beer is far better than Noble. But just look up Noble, Patrick. It's not that far. It's just across the street from that $10 parking. It's not that far. It's, I would say, to the stadium, it's a good 200 yards or so. But hey, I mean, you can walk off whatever you drank or ate, and it's a good walk into the stadium. You don't have to pay already $20. Use that $20 on food outside the stadium like you do, or drinks or beer, or gas even. So there you go. Let's see. Do you still like Wayne as an announcer? I don't mind him, but I'm not. I still would like to see Matty V be the longtime guy for him. I just don't see it. Also, I really can't wait to see what those two designs they made. They're fucking fire. Yeah, they're close. They're really close to being launched on here. And we got Todd says one large HITI network shirt. Well, yeah, order them. They're on the site. They're on Shopify, and they're on freaking what do you call it? On the page here, if you go to the YouTube page. But also, I do have a list of guys like, I want to say Tyler. I want to say, obviously Booba Bear's mommy. I'm going to give some to the crew that work with us here. And then all those have been pitching in, like Mateo, Saucy. I'm gonna give a free shirt to them as well. And then, obviously, because that's who helped us out to get these shirts brewing in the first place. And then once we get them going, I'll have cheaper shirts because we have different designs coming in. So yeah, there's me a whole bunch of merchandise you can pick up that are really cool, banger designs that freaking Randy made. So yeah, we're gonna be kicking off this month as doing the whole merchandise thing for once and doing it right. Also, Dan said, what the fuck? I didn't get a notice you started the show, dumb YouTube. Matthew says, my birthday is on the 21st on the Shonawell bobblehead night. Me and the wife got a hotel in Anaheim. What brewery do you recommend? Kind of want to go bar hopping. I've been to Brewery X already. Well, Matthew, we just talked about it. I would say this. I would go over to if you haven't done Golden Road, they're all together. It depends on what kind of style you like, Matthew, but I would go Golden Road. And since right next to it, I forget the other one that's right next to it. It's the upscale one. There's a brewery on the same street next to Golden Road. And then I would head.
And they taste fantastic.
Okay. It does taste fantastic. Thank you, Gavin. Carl Strauss. Thank you. Thank you, Nate. You can go over there. Right there. Nate says, I'm surprised you feel that way about Wayne. I think he's great. I do think he's great. I just like Matty V a little bit better because Matty V has a good back and forth with Gooby. I think a little better. That's just my opinion. But I feel you on Wayne. Getting back to it real quick on the bars, Matthew, I would say go Golden Road because it has a huge area, very family friendly, nice place. Then you go to Carl Strauss, it's more upscale. You can try that out. They have more mixed drinks there. Then go across to Noble, try out that dive bar feel. But if you're taking the woman out on a date night after a hotel, I would highly recommend Brewheim. Just check the schedule to see what food that they're offering because they do have that on their Instagram, their schedule on the food. Nate is saying Villains is pretty good too. And I think that's the one down the street. That's a little dive bar across the little what's it called? The riverbed right there, east of the pond. But I do like or by the packing house, Nate says. My bad. But I will say this though. As far as atmosphere, if you want like a date night, I would say, like I said, Brewheim's the spot. It's really nice to go. You can have an intimate setting there with your girl, and I think that would be nice right there. And their beer's pretty good. It's pretty classy right there. So I would recommend that spot too. Obviously, they're a sponsor. I put them high up there, but there is other places to get shit-faced, like Patrick says. He says, if I'm on my own driving, I don't drink personally, though. If I'm with my buddies, I get shit-faced. Patrick, I want to have a beer with you because I'm the same way. I am sort of that social drinker. I don't drink by myself at all. I don't care if it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I definitely don't do it during the week. But if I'm out with friends and I don't have to drive because I drive for a living and don't want to ruin my career, absolutely, I'm responsible. And I always, have the lady drive or friends. But if you're drinking 4 or 5, guess who's drinking 4 or 5 with you? I have the rule. I have to match whatever's going on. I remember getting into we went to Vegas and we had like a, what's it called? A bachelor's party. And my boy was drinking and they were doing this thing because he liked to brag a lot, especially when he drank a lot or he was starting to drink, and he was bragging. And every time he bragged, everyone had to take a shot, and they were doing it like on the down low so he couldn't see. So he wasn't knowing or privy to what was going on. There was 2 smuggled bottles of vodka in the in one of my friends. He had one, and my other friend had one, and we were just taking shots. So when I came back, I remember I ordered a pitcher of beer to make it seem like we were all drinking beer. And so I brought a pitcher of beer over to the to match the other beer that we had on the table for all, because there was about like 8 or 9 of us. And I get back, and I already had taken 3 shots before I went to go get the new pitcher of beer. And when I came back, they're all, bro, you're 4 shots behind. I'm like, you're fucking kidding me. We're barely in the 4th frame. He's bragged that much. And they're all, yep, that dude is bragging us to death. I'm like, oh my God. So we literally finished both bottles of vodka before the 10th frame of the first game. And he was the only one that was semi-sober or he was actually, compared to us, he was extremely sober. We were about, I would say, 10 or 11 shots in. We were so shit-faced. And it was one of those jokes and stories we tell that's hilarious. And when we told him about it, he couldn't stop laughing because he was like, man, I was wondering how you guys were so shit-faced off of beer. I go, yeah, half of us threw up before we even reached the hotel again. So it was bad. So never do that again. That would be like if say, for instance, we had to take a shot every time Gooby came on and said, hey, or something like that, like launch angle, like, damn, we'd be freaking drunk. Tyler says patio is the worst right there. Also, Grillmaster says, I know Carl Strauss. They have a mean black soup. Also, great spot for a steakhouse is the Tartan Room in Orange off of Tustin. The place is amazing, hole in the wall since 1957. Grillmaster says, still grateful to be able to drive you home on the tailgate night. Oh, I really appreciate that too, Grill. Also, Tony C says, John Carpino is running the team, but Perry is getting more and more freedom. I think the trade deadline will be really interesting for the Angels, depending on what they are to do at the deadline. And it is going to be a crazy, crazy deadline because, again, it's huge to see what they can do in this game right now or this season, because we don't know what this team can be. They can be we're thinking they could be a fringe playoff team because the record shows it when they score 4 runs or more, they're 28-9. And the pitching staff is nowhere near anything that scares you, but they remind me, and I've said it before, they remind me of a football team that bends but doesn't break. So they'll let you get in between the 20s all you want, but once you get in the red zone, they find a way to stop you. And I think that's what the Angels pitchers do. They throw a lot of pitches. Guys are on the base a lot, but they trust their defense and they make the right pitch at the right time. So this team doesn't get blown out too much, and that's why they're in a lot of these games. Patrick says, I'm a Kirkland Signature Spice rum guy, 47%. Nice and strong. The most I've ever had was 17 shots. God damn. Better chase that with some water, man. That's what I've learned. Don't drink and drive. Absolutely, I'm being responsible for sure. Same thing with Grillmaster right there. So with that being said, we talked a lot about Angels baseball and the win tonight. We went an hour and 15. We talked about Gavin. You guys took it there. I just poked the bear a little bit. No doubt I missed Stukas. How about another round? You know what, Dan? Since me love you long time, like our boy Roger Lodge, and you like to bring
There's a lot of baseball left to be played, and the season starts tonight, which makes me so horny, and me love you long time.
I'll play all you wonderful gentlemen and ladies out there a good night, and we will see you tomorrow right after the game. I'll be on to talk Angels baseball because I'm not making the game tomorrow or Wednesday. I've got prior commitments, so I won't be in town for the last 2 nights, but I will be there next homestand for sure. Pass it to the left says, I never drink and drive because I might spill my drink. I like that. Good night, Skull Zone, you dick. Still love you. Patrick says it's Spritz o'clock. Tony C says, smash the like button and share. Todd, keep up the good work. We need more Angel fans to get more involved with your platforms. Go Halos. You tell it like it is. God bless you and your show. I hope you enjoy that as well, Caesar, Tony C, along with that jersey, man. Thank you, Dan. And let's see, Gavin drinks because he can't locked on to get hard for the girls. Jeez. Only you, girl. Only you. All right, I'll play you out with some Stukas. Good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow, hopefully after another Angels win, baby.